Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Em, and this is my August TBR slash goals video, but I forgot to film an intro, so here's your intro, and back to past Em. If you are new here, hi, welcome, thank you for stopping by. I have a self-destructing TBR every month, and that TBR is made up of the books that I purchased in the same month of the previous year, and I need to at least attempt to read all of them or unhaul them by the end of the month. And I have learned I buy a lot of books in the summer. So the self-destructing TBR for this month is a little tall, and some of them are kind of chunky. I'm a little intimidated. I'm gonna be honest. I'm regretting some of my life choices in this moment, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So first up, I have Peace and Turmoil, The Dark Shores, Book 1. This is by Elliot Brooks of YouTube, BookTube fame. I bought this last year. I also am using a vlogging camera for the first time, so there may be some technical difficulties while I figure out how to do this. But anyways, so I have her book, which is very chunky, but I have heard really good things about her book, and I'm excited to finally read it because I have really loved watching her videos on YouTube. I also have the two books that I purchased for Bookstore Romance Day last year that I still have not read. Bookstore Romance Day is always the third Saturday of August, and it was founded by a bookseller, and she basically wanted to make indie bookstores a really safe, supportive space for romance readers, because sometimes there is a breed of indie bookseller who can be kind of snooty about romance and romance readers, and she really wanted to get rid of that stigma around romance reading. So I try to always support them because I worked with her when I was a bookseller. We worked at the same bookstore right when she was starting Bookstore Romance Day. And so I always really like to show her some support because I think this work that she's doing is incredibly hard and but also important, and she does not get the recognition and acknowledgement that she deserves for organizing such a big event every single year. So I will link the Bookstore Romance Day website down below, as well as the YouTube channel, because there are a bunch of really awesome panels on the YouTube channel from past years. So you can go check those out and see some really awesome authors talking about romance. But last year I purchased A Matter of Temptation by Stacey Reed. And then I also got The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. I really loved The Worst Best Man when I read it, and I've heard this one is really good too, and I still have not read either of these. I'm also really struggling to read romance at the moment, so we will see how this goes. I don't have high hopes for my success rate, but I could be wrong. And then I also have A Queen in Hiding by Sarah Kozloff. This is fantasy? Maybe fantasy romance. I don't know. It's part of a 4-book series. I got this at a used bookstore when we went to the beach last summer. It says it's the ultimate fantasy for fantasy fans. So we'll see. Like, again, I know nothing. I just really just bought it based off the cover. Like you do. And then the last book on the list, I'm really excited for this book. I am also a little appalled that it took me this long to read it. Like, it's been a year and I haven't read it yet. And it is book 2 in the Cute Mutant series. This one is called Young, Gifted, and Queer. This is by S.J. Whitby. I read the first one, the first Cute Mutants, last summer, and I loved it so much. It was so funny. It was also like emotional and rompy, and it was just so fun. And it was about these group of teenagers who, from going to a party and everyone kissing the same girl, woke up with mutant powers. And they weren't like what you think of with mutant powers with X-Men. They were weird mutant powers where how you can use them to help people is not immediately apparent. So like our main character, Ellen, she woke up and she could talk to inanimate objects and they would talk back to her. So, you know, not a skill where you can where you like can do anything with it. But I loved it so much. I had such a good time. And I'm really excited that I have book 2 to read this month. All right, outside of that self-destructing TBR, I have some goals for August. So July is my birthday month, and I go a little hog wild with buying books in August. No, with buying books in July. And now I have a whole bunch of new books on my bookshelf, which is wonderful. I am so excited to read all these books. However, now I have more unread books on my bookshelf. And one of my goals for this year is to get my unread books under 100 physical unread books. We're not going to talk about my Kobo. We're not going to talk about my Libro FM account. Okay. And right now, let me double check my number. I haven't updated for July, but at the beginning of July, I was at 109. I don't think I'm there anymore. I think it's probably gone up because I bought a lot of books and I have read a ton from the library this month. Or I read a ton from the library in July. God, recording this in July when it's meant for August, this is going to be so confusing for me. Okay, but anyways, so the goal for August is to really limit the books I'm going to purchase. So I have Labyrinth's Heart by Emma Carrick and Thorn Hedge by T. Kingfisher, both on pre-order, and those both come out August 15th. So those are my pre-orders. Outside of that, I am going to try so hard to not buy any books. I'm also going to try to not get any new library books. I have 2 out from the library right now that I haven't read yet. So those are going to stay here and I'm going to try to read them, but I'm not going to check out anything new from the library. Should we talk about what else is kind of on my radar? Yes, let's do that. Let's talk about what I have from the library right now. I have A Far Wilder Magic by Allison Saft. This is YA fantasy, I believe, and this got on my radar because somebody on YouTube said it was fan fiction for 2 characters from Full Metal Alchemist, and I haven't finished that manga series, but I was really loving it. I should probably go and get back to it. I didn't stop because I didn't like it. I stopped because I got overwhelmed because there's so many volumes. I'm gonna read this, and then I also got Trust, which is one of the books that won the Pulitzer this year. And Angela at Literature Science Alliance read this for a book club she's in, and I really loved the things she had to say about it, like the structure, how the story is told, the project that this book is taking on, and so I wanted to give it a shot. Sometimes literary fiction hits, and sometimes it's a big ol' miss. So we could go either way, but I am really curious about this one. And then as far as the rest of the things I kind of want to read this month, okay, this is not a TBR. This is just books that I keep eyeing on my bookshelf that it would be nice to not be looking at anymore. Like, that it would be nice to have read by the end of August. I'm not doing an official TBR because I'm trying to trick myself into reading these books. If I do a TBR, I'm going to get contrary and I'm not going to read them. So we're going to try, I'm trying to trick myself. So we're just going to go with it. And these are all super chunky books. I kind of want to lean into the thick book theme of summer because I have some thick books in my self-destructing TBR. The library books aren't too thick, but all the books that I really want to read in my house, they are thick. So I have Malice by John Gwen. I don't think I need to really say anything about this one because it's super popular on BookTube. It feels like anyways. I still haven't read The Faithless by C.L. Clark. And The Unbroken was one of my favorite books of 2022. And this one is a highly anticipated book for me. So I really want to read it. I also need to restart Chaos Vector. I read some of it, maybe like 100 pages at the beginning of June, and then got distracted and couldn't remember anything that had happened, and I just put pause. I put a pause on it. So I have to go back. I have to start all over anyways, but I really want to continue with the sci-fi series because I thought Velocity Weapon was so fun and I really want to see what's going to happen. And this author has a new release that just came out that I'm also really interested in, but I have to finish the series before I can check out her new book. I have The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri still sitting on my shelf. This is another book acquisition that was inspired by Angela. I love the way she talks about The Jasmine Throne, and I have read the other two books that are in that sapphic trifecta. I've read The Unbroken and She Who Became the Sun, and this is the only one from that little group I haven't read yet. I really want to read Infinity Gate by M.R. Curry. This is his new sci-fi book, which I don't know anything about, but I went into my local indie during Indie Bookstore Day, and one of my besties works at my local indie, and I asked her to hand sell me a book, and this is what she hand sold me, so I have to read it. And then the last one that I've been eyeing is Saint Death's Daughter by C.S.E. Cooney. This is, necromancy, there's a romance. I love how unapologetically pink this book is. And I've read from this author before. I've read a novella and I really liked it. And I have just been circling this one for a really long time. But also, look, it's so chunky. It's like, is it 600 pages? 640 pages. But I'm hoping it'll be 640 good pages of a really good time. So that's kind of what I'm eyeballing. I have a couple projects in mind for YouTube. If I break my library, my loose library ban, it will be for that project because I kind of want to do a would I still give these books 5 stars. Steph did this video a while back where she went through her Goodreads and talked about the books that she gave 5 stars for a couple of years and if she would still rate those. And I like that idea. My earliest Goodreads, I think, is 2016 or 2017. And I don't really want to talk through it, but I thought it might be fun to pick like 4 of the books that I gave 5 stars and reread them and see if they still are 5-star for me. But I don't own all those books anymore because I don't hang on to books if I don't think I'm going to reread them. And some of them, like, I don't think I would reread them if I wasn't looking for like a fun video idea for YouTube. So anyways, that is the end of this video. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for spending your precious time with me. I really appreciate it. If you have any thoughts, feelings about any of these books, about where I should start, what I should prioritize, would love to hear it. If you don't want to leave a comment, but you wanted to let me know you were here, let's do, Lord, so many books. Let's do some sort of forest emoji, like for a Far Wilder Magics, like trees or flowers or woodland creatures, what have you. And I will talk to you all in the next one. Bye.